Hello everyone. Today we're going to do one of my favorite projects, and that is drawing a picture of the bridge in Monet's garden. So we're going to start today by just drawing two curved lines. And you're going to go right across the page, and you want them to be parallel to each other. So we got two curved lines just like this. Okay, now I'm going to draw a straight line down, and these are the railings on the bridge. And the railings he painted in different lights, different times of the day. And sometimes you see them, they're more blue, sometimes they're more green. So I'm going right over the colors that I made with some green and some blue. And the bridge in real life is actually green, so you want to definitely have some green in their picture. Now comes the fun part. We're going to add some water lilies. Now the water lilies can be yellow, they can be white, they can be pink, yellow. So I'm just sort of making sort of almost like a little tulip. Just a curved line and a zigzag line going across. And I'm actually going to fill in a lot. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 so far. Let's go for 12. And I'm just going to use some different colors. I like some pink. I'm going to use some pink ones. Now to make a white one, you're not going to see the white really well on the paper, but go ahead. If you have a white crayon, you can see the texture where you're coloring. Just make a couple white ones. I just made 3. And I also want you to take that white, and I want you to go draw a line on the bridge with the white. Go right over some of the green if you want. You can draw the line in, and you'll see what happens later on when we add some color. Okay, so now I have a few water lilies. I like purple too, so I think I might add in a few purple. Now comes the water lily parts. You're just going to take your crayon and you're going to go a curved line around and over, curved line around and over. And I'm just going around and making, they're almost like little flat ovals. You just don't want to cross over in front of your lily. Now I'm going to go ahead, this is a dark blue green, so I'm going to add a little bit of a lighter green for my water lilies. And I'm just going in. So if you have different shades of green in your crayon box, use them. If you don't, no worries, just use what you got. And then I'm going to add some lines up here. Now behind the bridge you can see the flowers growing along the edge of Monet's garden. So I'm just drawing in some grasses. You can see the grasses growing behind the bridge, so you want to color in between the slats of the bridge. Because if you're standing over on this side of the pond and looking over, that's what you would see. And they would continue down to the edge of the pond here. Now there's here a lot of yellow grasses as well, so I'm including some yellow. And I'm just drawing some vertical lines. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just pressing down hard with my crayon, adding some yellows. If you want to add in some blues for shading, you can add in some blues. Show some of the shadows. Now if you want, you can put in little dots of red or pink, and this would represent some flowers up in the background from a distance. So from a distance you're just going to see little blobs of color. You're not going to see a flower in all its detail because it's so far away. Alright, now comes the fun part. So I'm going to take my crayon, and this time I'm going to go and make some horizontal lines. And I'm just making little wavy lines going across. And I'm going to show you a fun little trick. This is a lot of fun to do with paint, but if you don't have paint, you have a marker and it's water soluble. So Crayola, that's a marker that you can add water to. So I'm actually going to take my brush, and all I have in here, I don't have watercolor paint, I just have water and a brush. And I'm going to brush some water all over the part that's the water. You can brush right over your water lilies too. Now I'm going to take my blue marker, and I'm just going to follow some of the lines. You want to keep going horizontally. Okay, so I'm just going across still. And because it's a water-soluble marker, it kind of bleeds a little bit, and it gives a really cool watery effect. So if you don't have watercolors, you can still get a really cool effect using just a plain old Crayola marker. You can see where I went over it. The white water lilies show up now. And sometimes you see shades of green in the water. So if you want, you can take your green marker, and you don't have to go over the whole thing, but maybe just part of the picture. Oops, look, I found another water lily. Forgot, I made another little white one down there. Okay, so it gives us this beautiful watery effect. It looks like the water. I really like that look, so I'm going to extend it up to the top. So up at the top, now I'm going to add some water over that area. And I'm going to take my markers, and this time I'm going to use the same colors I used before. I'm going to use my green. I'm just going to fill in around these areas. I'm going to try the yellow. Yellow shows up quite nicely. It's kind of bright, bold yellow. Then I'm going to add maybe a couple dots in the marker, just a little bit, not too much. Okay, and then I'm going to take my blue. I might even just trace over my bridge just a little bit. Just give it a little more pop of color. Okay, and there is my watercolor in Monet's garden. Now you can also take the black when it dries if you want, and you can also just outline the bridge a little bit. Now don't do this while it's wet. I'm doing it now because it will rip. It will rip your paper, but I just want to kind of show you really quickly. So if you want the bridge to stand out more, take your black marker or crayon after it's dried, and you can just go over it, and it makes it show up a little bit better. Okay, so there is our bridge in Monet's garden. It's really fun to do, and all I had was a little bit of water and just a paintbrush and my markers and crayons. You do not need to use watercolors. However, if you do have watercolors at home, please use them because it does give it a nice effect. Oh, you know what I forgot before I go? We forgot to put a little bit of green in over underneath the white water lilies. Okay, have fun.